Last week was our first playoff game, and my plaque psoriasis was so itchy under all my gear. Sometimes just thinking about scratching could take me out of the moment. And then my doctor told me I could get clearer skin with a pill called Otezla.
Otezla apremilast is a prescription medicine used to treat adult patients with plaque psoriasis for whom phototherapy or systemic therapy is appropriate. Otezla can help you get clearer skin after just 4 months.
Okay, ready for the next game. Talking to my doctor about a pill was a total game changer.
Don't use Otezla if you're allergic to it. Get medical help right away if you have trouble breathing or swallowing, swelling of the face, lips, tongue, throat, or arms. Severe diarrhea, nausea or vomiting, depression, suicidal thoughts, or weight loss can happen. Tell your doctor if any of these occur and if you have a history of depression or suicidal thoughts. Live in the moment. Ask your doctor about Otezla. Call 1-844-4-OTEZLA or visit Otezla.com for prescribing info about cost, and more.
The Other Side of Midnight.
77 WABC.
Local Spotlight.
Good morrow, everyone. This is The Other Side of Midnight on 77 WABC. I'm Frank Morano. This will be our last Friday show of 2024, at least with me at the helm. Well, no, it'll be our last Friday regardless. So we're going to do a little Ask Frank Anything. If you want to start queuing up with questions, you can. 646-720-0635. That's 1-646-720-0635. There's finally some good news on the fiscal front for New York City. According to the New York Post, Mayor Eric Adams is planning to crack down on overtime costs for city employees. This isn't just a smart move, it's a necessary one. And frankly, it's long overdue. For years, city agencies have burned through taxpayer dollars like there's no tomorrow. The NYPD, the FDNY, and other departments rack up millions in overtime, often with very little scrutiny. Now, let me be clear. I value the work of our police officers, firefighters, and other city employees. But overtime and overtime abuse has become a systemic problem in New York City, and it's time someone finally tackled it head on. Just last year, overtime costs ballooned to over $1 billion. That's billion with a B. Think about what that money could have gone towards. Improving our crumbling subway system, fixing pothole-ridden streets, or even helping our public schools. Instead, it's often spent on bloated budgets and inefficiencies that go unchecked. And if New York City ever decides to implement its own version of a Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, this would absolutely be one of the first things to tackle. Managing overtime isn't just about saving money. It's about running the city more effectively and holding people accountable. Mayor Adams deserves some credit for addressing this issue, but the truth is, it should have happened years ago. It's not like the problem snuck up on us. City leaders have been kicking this can down the road for decades. It's time to stop the waste and make our government work for the people who pay the bills, the taxpayers. Now, this isn't just a New York City problem. Look around the country and you'll see examples of inefficiency, corruption, and outright waste. Mayor Adams' crackdown on overtime is a step in the right direction. It sends a clear message. We're watching where every dollar goes, and we expect results. If the mayor can follow through on this, and that's a big if, he might just earn himself a reputation as a leader willing to make tough but necessary decisions. So let's hope this isn't just lip service and another headline-grabbing announcement. Let's hope this marks the beginning of a more efficient, accountable, and effective New York City government. All right, let me hear your questions. Let's end the year with a bang. 646-720-0635. That's 646-720-0635.
Beam me up!
To be continued.
ChatGPT Plus is free for college students through May. Here's the thing. You've got a lot to do between now and then. Studying for finals, writing papers, trying to keep your life on track. And ChatGPT can help with all of it. It can quiz you for your econ exam, make a study guide from your French notes, plan out your meals and study breaks. It can get really specific on how you like to learn. It can even help you come up with ways to stop procrastinating. So from now until summer break, take advantage of all the ways ChatGPT can make your life easier. Restrictions apply.
The Other Side of Midnight.
77 WABC.
Local Spotlight.
Good morrow, everybody. This is The Other Side of Midnight on 77 WABC. I'm Frank Morano. Ladies and gentlemen, what happened to Carl Dukes is nothing short of a travesty, a glaring, gut-wrenching reminder of just how fragile and flawed our justice system can be. After spending nearly 2 decades in prison for a murder he didn't commit, Mr. Dukes has finally been declared actually innocent by a state appellate court. This wasn't just a mistake, it was a colossal failure of integrity by the Albany detectives who confession 27 years ago. Let that sink in. Detectives fabricated a story, used threats, and intimidated a man into confessing to a crime he didn't commit. That's not justice, that's injustice with a badge. Think about it. Carl Dukes lost nearly 20 years of his life. 20 years of birthdays, holidays, family moments, gone. Stripped away because a few individuals decided it was easier to frame an innocent man than to find the real killer. And Carl Dukes isn't alone. How many other men and women are sitting in prison cells right now, wrongfully convicted of crimes they had nothing to do with? The Innocence Project has exonerated hundreds of wrongfully convicted individuals, but they're just scratching the surface. Cases like this demand accountability. Every officer and prosecutor involved in railroading an innocent person should face the full weight of the law, no exceptions. These aren't just mistakes, they're crimes against humanity, and we need reform, top to bottom. Police departments must be scrutinized for patterns of misconduct, and detectives who abuse their power need to be removed, not protected. Interrogations should be recorded, reviewed, and subject to independent oversight. Most important, we need to rethink how we approach justice, because justice isn't about closing cases. It's about finding the truth. It's about ensuring that every person, no matter their background, has their rights respected. For Carl Dukes, no amount of compensation can ever restore the life he lost. But for the rest of us, his story should serve as a wake-up call. Let's not rest until every innocent person behind bars is free, and let's work even harder to ensure no one else suffers this kind of injustice ever again. I mean, think about it. Not just in New York, but all over the country. Think of how many innocent people are sitting in a prison cell right now for a crime they didn't commit. Let's find out who they are. Let's get them out of prison. I continue to praise the good work of the Innocence Project, and I think we as a society need to work harder to make sure innocent people stop being sent to prison in the first place.
Beam me up.
To be continued.
The Other Side of Midnight.
77 WABC.
Local Spotlight.
If you thought the new $9 congestion toll to drive into Midtown Manhattan was bad enough, brace yourself because it could get worse. Hidden in the fine print of the revised congestion pricing plan is a detail that would allow the MTA to slap drivers with a 25% surcharge on so-called gridlock alert days. That's right, your $9 toll could soar to $11.25 whenever traffic is at its worst. And when did we learn about this? Not through a bold announcement from Governor Kathy Hochul or the MTA. No, it was buried in a footnote. A footnote! This is the same Governor Hochul who conveniently waited until after the election to roll out the $9 commuter tax, avoiding public scrutiny when voters could have held her and her allies accountable at the ballot box. This isn't just bad policy, it's deceitful. This idea that this extra surcharge was always envisioned is laughable. If it was such a great idea, why didn't anyone mention it until now? The answer is simple. They knew how unpopular this would be. Let's put this into perspective. The city's Department of Transportation designated 20 gridlock alert days this year alone. That means 20 days when drivers already dealing with Midtown traffic are hit with an even higher toll. And who bears the brunt of this? Hard-working New Yorkers and commuters from places like New Jersey, folks who already pay sky-high taxes and costs of living. The reasoning behind this toll was supposedly to reduce traffic and improve air quality. But does anyone really believe the MTA won't just keep jacking up the prices? Staten Island Borough President Vito Fossella put it perfectly. This is about maximizing revenue, plain and simple. And let's not forget what this regressive tax means for working families. For many, driving isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. Public transit doesn't work for everyone, especially those with jobs that require odd hours. Hello! Or carrying equipment. What about small business owners, delivery drivers, parents shuttling kids around? Once again, they're the ones footing the bill for policies dreamed up by people who rarely, if ever, drive into Manhattan themselves. This toll hike was wrong from the start. Now, adding a hidden surge pricing element to it is downright insulting. Governor Hochul and the MTA owe the people of New York and New Jersey transparency and a little respect. Let's call this what it is: a sneaky, regressive tax that punishes hardworking people. It's time for leaders to put the brakes on this madness and come up with real solutions that don't rely on squeezing every last dollar out of commuters. I continue to hope we can do something to get a delay in implementing this until after January 20th.
Beam me up.
To be continued.
The Other Side of Midnight.
77 WABC.
Local Spotlight.
When Michael Maxwell of Seagirt, New Jersey, signed up to serve his country in Vietnam, he didn't ask for accolades or special treatment. Like so many others, he answered the call of duty. 13 months in the Marine Corps' 1st Reconnaissance Battalion put him face-to-face with the Viet Cong and exposed him to Agent Orange, leading to leukemia and heart disease, ailments he's courageously fought ever since. But when it came time to apply for New Jersey's Wounded Warrior Caregiver Credit, a modest $675 tax break designed to support caregivers of disabled veterans, Michael got an unwelcome surprise. He was told, "You don't qualify." Why? Because his service didn't happen after 9/11. Let's pause on that for a moment. How do you tell a veteran who risked life and limb for their country that their sacrifices somehow matter less than those of another generation? It's insulting, it's unfair, and frankly, it's un-American. The policy essentially says you were in the wrong war. Think about that. Vietnam veterans already endured a disgraceful lack of recognition when they returned home, and now, decades later, New Jersey has decided to add insult to injury with a tax code that pits veterans against one another. Thankfully, State Senator Jim Holzapfel agrees. He's introduced a bipartisan bill, co-sponsored by Democrat Patrick Degnan, to remove this arbitrary post-9/11 cutoff. As Holzapfel rightly put it, how can we arbitrarily pick between them? It's like, who's your favorite kid? The proposed legislation has until January of 2025 to pass. That gives the New Jersey legislature a little bit of time to get it done. No excuses, no delays, because as Michael Maxwell said, this is about more than money. It's about principle. It's about recognizing that every veteran, no matter the conflict, deserves to be treated with equal dignity and respect. Let's call this what it is: a failure of common sense and decency. Veterans like Michael should not have to fight another battle just to receive what they've earned. If you're as outraged as I am, there's only a couple of days left until January. Write not just to your representatives in New Jersey, but call the governor's office and demand that this bill be voted positively. I think at least one chamber has already voted on it. Might have already been voted on by both, but I know at least one chamber has voted on it in the affirmative, and demand that this bill move forward. New Jersey needs to fix this injustice and fix it now. So to every legislator in Trenton and to the governor, get your act together. Veterans like Michael have done their part for this country. The least we can do is make sure New Jersey does its part for them.
Beam me up.
To be continued.